It has been way too long, friends. Welcome back to the Duffy Dome for the last time. But don't worry, there's more. My name's Jarrod.
My name's Julie.
I'll let this music play for a little bit.
Okay.
We put our stuff on YouTube, and this is how I knew that Lionsgate started to care about heels again, is because like a week later, they're like, whoa, you've got some copyrighted material on there. And it was from the music and the clips.
Oh, is that bad?
No,
Okay.
I'm not trying to monetize, so it's okay. Hi, everybody. We haven't been on here in a long time. This is the Duffy Dome. We are a podcast about the television program Heels, formerly on the Starz Network, then canceled,
Boo.
then resurrected by Netflix.
Yay.
In September, Heels was added. Season 1 and 2 were added to Netflix with the option of season 3. That option has not been picked up yet, but I have some ideas.
Go watch on Netflix.
Go watch on Netflix and hit the double thumbs up.
Oh, there's a double?
The double is I love this.
Oh,
thumbs up is I like this. Double thumbs up is I love this.
I didn't know that.
So looking back at our past episodes, we haven't posted since March.
We're bad.
And a lot has happened since then. So let's talk about it.
Where have we been?
I'll answer that question.
Okay.
You are a grad student.
I'm very tired.
You are in year...
I'm in year 3 of a doctoral program.
And I noticed that it was funny because when Heels was coming back to Netflix, the day before I was on the computer, I was scheduling tweets and I was interacting with people. You were at a scholarship banquet.
I was. It's true.
We live in two totally different worlds. And if that wasn't enough, like you're working very hard, you have a full-time job and you're a full-time student.
That's true.
I had a death in my family in June. I just want to say this to people. Please go to the doctor and get your annual checkups. And if something doesn't feel right, go get it checked. That took up so much of my time as far as like the legal end.
Mm-hmm. With the state and yeah.
I have so many trips to the lawyer. I just last week or 2 weeks ago got the all clear that the estate is
last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Final account.
I had no idea what went into like picking out a tombstone. Like what all went into this whole business. Like what color should the tombstone be? What should be on the tombstone? All these things.
Yeah. The answer to that is everything's going to cost you at least $1,500 every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And there was a line in Yellowstone a couple of weeks ago where the son was asking his dad, like, well, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be buried? And he said, that's not up to me. That's up to you. And that was that hit me. I was like, that's true. Wow, that really is true. It's not, but it's also up to your siblings as well. So
it's nice that you have a great relationship with your sibling.
It's like you are not going to get 100% of the things you think should happen, but you got to learn to compromise. So grad school, dead dad. The only good thing about that is if you're a wrestling fan, I bought the Christian is my father shirt because I am now. There's so many dead dad jokes. There's so many like dead parents, like it's like a secret club. It's like I know there are some people who are devastated by it, but there's a humor to it that is hard to.
You have to laugh or
it's hard to relate to until you're there. And now I know that sounds weird. It's like sometimes you're going to laugh at stuff, but sometimes you're going to get mad at pictures.
Yeah. A lot of things happened.
We did do some traveling.
We did.
And for the wrestling fans in the room, I know that our last episode was an AEW live event review. And it was pretty popular. So we were going to talk about, we went to 2 AEW shows this summer.
Mm-hmm. We did.
We went to AEW in Palm Springs.
That was great.
And we got to see Will Ospreay wrestle. The funny thing is like we flew into Palm Springs the day of the show. We were in our hotel, like we got to our hotel long enough to change clothes and drive to the venue. The venue is an ice hockey arena.
Oh, yeah. We didn't take that into consideration.
50% of the time, it's ice hockey.
Yeah.
And so when we were scanning in, going through security, the security guy was like, oh, front row, you're going to be cold down there.
We were like, what?
And I said, why would I be cold? It's an arena. And he's like, well, they just covered up the ice. So you're going to be cold. I wasn't. It was great to me.
I was okay. The child was quite chilly by the end. She was fine until the very end.
We were there for a Collision taping. The main thing about that one was we got to see Will Ospreay, which was cool.
Who was she like scolding?
Oh yes, you went to get popcorn. And Johnny TV, formerly known as John Morrison, Johnny Impact, whoever you want to talk about, John Hennigan, who wrestles everywhere, was wrestling Claudio Castagnoli. Cesaro in WWE. Cesaro at the time was the face, and Johnny TV was the heel, and with Taya Valkyrie, his wife. She was rooting for Johnny TV. Now, because this was a taping, they were a lot looser as far as like not breaking kayfabe. So after the match, the whole time she rooted for Johnny TV. After the match, Claudio Castagnoli is going around because there's no commercial breaks, so there's time in between. He's high-fiving all the little kids. He gets to our kid. He puts his hand out to high-five her, and he's smiling, and she says to him, as she points, boo! And he flinched. He went, what?
He was horrified.
He was like, he played along, which was really funny. And I was like, why did you boo him? He was trying to high-five you. And she's like, I just like Johnny TV more. I liked his fashion. And I was like, all right, that's your choice. You can do that.
Valid.
Another thing is she does not like Undisputed Kingdom.
She hates them so much.
And Roderick Strong, last time as we discussed in our episode, he got into it with her. And he was yelling at her and she was yelling at him. And he kind of broke. He smiled. And this time it was Mike Bennett and Matt Taven in a tag team match. And she booed him, but he booed her. And that was really fun. We'll get to, I realized something during that, and it's more in our AEW Arlington experience.
Okay.
But we got there. It was a whirlwind day. We flew in like after.
Exhausting day.
You worked.
I did. I worked that day.
You worked, and then we immediately jumped into the car, flew to the airport.
Drove to the airport.
Flew
there. We were worried we weren't going to make it to the show because there was a slight delay on one of the flights.
And then we got through our car. We made it to our hotel, which is like 5 minutes from the arena, and we got there. That's a great arena, by the way. We also went back for Weezer.
Oh, 100% recommend. If you can go see a show in that arena.
If you're in Los Angeles or you're in Southern California, like
go there.
Acrisure Arena in Palm Desert.
It was spectacular, by the way. Weezer and Flaming Lips.
Yes.
Kind of Dinosaur Jr. Not really.
Next, we went to AEW, had a residency in Arlington for like 6 weeks at the Esports Arena, and we made it to the
second
to last night. The fun part about that was we were front row again. We usually are. And
you always trick me. Every time I'm like, we didn't get front row, right? And you're like, no, I wasn't able to do it this time. And I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. And then I prep the child for us not being front row. And then we get there and you're like, we're front row. You always trick me.
Now, this was a smaller venue, but the way they laid it out was super cool. The thing I realized then, and I could look back on the Palm Springs one and then even the Oklahoma City AEW show, is that wrestlers with kids are better at interacting with kids.
Yes. You can tell which ones have children.
You can tell which ones have children because, some will come by and just high five or say something. At this AEW show in Arlington,
this was my favorite interaction besides when she met Orange Cassidy ever.
So the House of Black are wrestling a tag team match. Wasn't it up against the Gun Club?
You're asking the wrong person here.
I believe it was
I don't know
against
why you're
Colton
looking
and
at me like
Austin
I'm gonna
Gunn.
help you with this.
It might have been the main event. I can't remember. Oh, it was that main event where Christian...
Were they wrestling those silly people?
They were wrestling Juice Robinson and the Guns, and then Christian was the special guest referee.
Yeah. It was, what's her face's husband? You know, the girl I like. What's her name?
Oh, Tony Storm.
Yeah.
It was, Juice Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, fast forward, it's this violent 6-man tag. And they're
like flying everywhere. Giant guys are running into the barricade.
It's not the hard barricade like when we're in arenas.
No.
It was the old school metal grill.
And my foot's on the barricade so our child doesn't get like run over. And she's like, stop it, I want to see. And I'm like trying to stop her from getting like smooshed by giant wrestlers. And she doesn't care. She has no care for her own safety.
So after the match is over, Brody King from the House of Black, who's a very large man, he got knocked down in front of us. He's laying there on the floor in front of us. And she leans over. I'll let you do the impression if you want.
No, you can do it.
She leans over and he's like, he's selling it. He's like, She leans over the railing. She goes, do you need me to call an ambulance? And he reaches up and grabs the guardrail and he pulls himself up and he lays his face on the guardrail next to her and he goes, yes, tell them I need a Diet Coke.
It was the cutest. It's like the best picture I have from this year of her in wrestling because it's like a picture of her face right next to his face on the barricade. And it's so cute. And I'm going to put it like in our Christmas card of that.
Yeah. So that was her first interaction. They did some Ring of Honor tapings and Mina Shirakawa was there.
Who she loves.
Yes. And like Mina Shirakawa got beat up after the match. And
they're like dragging her away.
They're like, the ref is helping her out. And she reaches out for Mina Shirakawa. And Mina Shirakawa, while still holding onto the ref, still selling it, sees her, pulls the ref back, and reaches for her hand.
It was super cute.
And I was like, oh, that was really nice of her. And then there was another 6-man match, and it was the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes. And then Sammy Guevara showed up. And I'm really glad that I kept my opinions to myself because I do not like Sammy Guevara.
Your baby loves him.
Well, he got on the microphone and he's like, I'm from Texas. And everybody was like, woo, which is weird because people from Texas usually are like, what part of Texas are you from? No. So I can judge you. He's from Houston.
Yeah, but when you have people from outside of Texas and they're like wrestling people from Texas, it's like the Texans versus the non-Texans.
Which is totally what this was.
That's what it's like. No, when you are Texans versus non-Texans, it doesn't matter what part of Texas you're from. You are all Texans. But when you're within Texas, you can judge each other as Texans.
So you were rooting for the Texans?
I mean, obviously, as a Texan, I can root for the Texans.
Well, I was... I don't like Sammy Guevara, but apparently his mom was there. He got on the microphone afterwards.
Aww.
And was like, yeah, I fucking love it here. And my mom's here. And I'm just so happy to be with everybody. And Dustin Rhodes was there. And afterwards, I guess we've never stayed long enough. But afterwards, like...
She was not tired, so she wanted to stay.
Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and the Von Erich boys, Marshall and Ross, went around and started taking pictures with everybody and meeting everybody. So we got some good pictures of her with one of the Von Erichs.
Dustin Rhodes hugged her.
Yeah, he came up and was talking to her.
Got a picture of that.
And then she got a picture with Sammy and Dustin, Sammy, parents. If you are ever in the area where AEW is, I guarantee you that if you go, you will have a good time.
Yes. Even if you don't love wrestling.
Even if you don't love wrestling like the person sitting across from me.
It's still fun. It's still entertaining.
You will find a part of the show that you like, and they send you home happy. Highly recommended. All right, we've talked heels. We've talked wrestling. Let's talk what's next.
What's next?
We talked about doing Kingdom, but that just never happened. And I'm hoping that
it's very depressing. We started it. We started it, and then depressing things happened in our lives, and it was like, oh, this is very dense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can handle this.
So I figure, okay, here's the thing. I think that we do well with shorter shows, so we're more fit for streaming or something with short seasons or a one season that was short. But we want something that everyone has access to, at least in America.
Yeah.
And our international friends, NordVPN. I watch so much stuff because of NordVPN. That's how I watch stuff that's in Canada before it comes to the US. We watch Bluey before it comes on Disney Plus.
I love Bluey. I'm watching that movie. I don't care how old my kid is. She's going to watch it.
And so anyway, we want to do things that are easy to access.
Maybe something more upbeat.
Yes. So we're going to go with something
less depressing.
Okay. So we're going to stick with this. We're going to do some shorter shows. We're going to try and go weekly.
We say we try things, but man, that's a lofty goal. New Year's resolution.
The goal is to be at least 3 times a month.
I feel like that's more manageable.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're openly negotiating on air.
I cannot do weekly.
You can. I've got a plan. But here's my promise to all the Heels fans. Suits LA.
When does Suits LA come out?
February.
Oh.
Now, I have, and it's a running joke that we have. When I got Stars PR to give me access to Heels Season 2, I was like, this is an amazing feeling. Why haven't I gone to the other streaming services and gotten them to give me early access? It's worth a shot.
No.
I went to Hulu and I didn't even make it past the first application. It was like, thanks, but we're not. It was like, fuck you. It was like,
you suck.
It was like, no, you're not popular enough. I have sent an email to NBC Universal Public Relations trying to get early access to Suits LA. Yeah. We
did see their props.
Yes, an attempt was made. Yes, speaking of,
we know what couches and things are going to be in the show.
We did the Universal VIP tour.
And highly recommend, by the way.
And part of that is they take you on the back lot to the studios. And you get to see, we got to go in the prop room.
It was super cool.
And they were like, no cameras.
No touching.
No touching and no cameras. So we were looking around and I kept seeing things that was furniture that said Suits LA. So we know the desks and lamps.
There were some cool looking couches and things. I wanted one of them. I was like, oh, I want that so bad. But we couldn't take a picture of it or we would have.
So I was trying to memorize things and memorize character names and stuff.
Yeah, let's watch the show and we'll see if we can find the furniture in the show.
It's
we saw, we were there.
It's such a nerdy thing to say, oh man, I'm going to look for that couch and desk. But anyway, we will cover Suits LA.
I do want to say one more time though, if you do go to Universal VIP tour, 10 out of 10. Recommend. You should do it. Worth the money. And you get to see cool stuff backstage.
All right. I will also make this promise to my friends and fans of Heels. We will also cover the upcoming movie, Queen of the Ring.
What is this movie?
Queen of the Ring is a biopic of Mildred Burke, the first ever $1 million female athlete and champion pro wrestler. It stars Emily Bett Rickards from Arrow, but also features watch this everybody. Walton Goggins.
Oh, I love Walton Goggins.
And also making an appearance in this movie, Kelly Berglund from Heels.
Oh, cool.
And Deborah Ann Wall from True Blood and Daredevil.
Who is she in True Blood?
The redheaded.
Oh, the redheaded girl. Okay. It's been a while since I watched True Blood.
That's our plan. We hope you stick around because really we've got our second show picked out and we hope that you'll like that too. A funny thing, we haven't done this in so long. I couldn't find my headphones.
Or the SIM card.
I couldn't find the SIM card that has literally my entire podcast life for the last 4 years on it.
Or the dongle.
Or the dongle for the computer. I haven't pressed these buttons that play clips in a while.
Oh.
So let's make this last Duffy Dome episode. Let's go out on a heels clip.
Which one will it be?
I don't know. I'm going to press this one.
Fuck you, Jack. I'll fucking kill you, motherfucker.
The condemned has risen. The condemned has won it for the DWL. The condemned has risen.
The condemned is your Harmageddon champion. The DWL wins Harmageddon.
Should've listened, Jack. You should've listened.
Jack, honey, why didn't you get up?
I can't feel my legs. Well, there you have it. Another great night from Duffy, Georgia, the cradle of wrestling. From everybody at the DWL, this is Eddie Earl wishing you a good night.
There had better be more, damn it.
I hope so. Go press the double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up that shit. We'll be back with our first episode. I forgot to tell you the new name of our podcast.
What's the new name?
It's Jarrod and Julie on TV.
Oh, I like it.
For the last time, for now, this has been the Duffy Dome. My name's Jarrod.
My name's Julie.
We'll see you next time with Jarrod and Julie on TV.